Faster than a speeding bullet.
I ran until my muscles burned and my veins pumped battery acid.
More powerful than a locomotive.
An idea is like a virus. Resilient. Highly contagious.
Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Hey guys, welcome to the Betterhumanology podcast. My name is Jared Moon, and with me is Talon Schwam. What's up, Talon?
What's up, Jared?
And today we have with us PJ Newton from strategicathlete.com, and he's going to be talking to us about kind of tactical training, GoRuck training. He's done a ton of GoRucks, and that's something that we're really interested in, Talon and I personally, with stuff that we're doing. We have all these events planned for this year and doing stuff next year, and so I thought it would be great to have PJ actually back on the show. If you didn't know, PJ was our very first guest on the Betterhumanology podcast, and we talked a lot about endurance stuff in the first one, and we talked about running marathons without training and all sorts of stuff. So check that episode out if you want to know about any of that. But today we'll be talking GoRucks and stuff. So what's up, PJ? How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, boys? How's it going?
Good. Doing good.
Pretty good, man. So you're doing the strategic athlete thing now.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically there's a million one people out there with websites, proclaiming that their workouts will make you the next Navy SEAL. And really what they do is just crush people with volume. And there's no real structure from them just because they're free programs, just like you see from any kind of the major fitness websites now that are putting out free stuff. So I wanted to, I saw a need. I got a lot of questions when, I get a lot of questions when I'm at seminars with CrossFit Endurance and stuff like that, from military folks that, are looking for something designed kind of for everybody else, right? Not that kind of top 1%, but, everybody. So that's kind of what I set out to build with Strategic Athlete, kind of good, coaching, training, knowledge, fitness programs, workouts for, like the 99% of those military athletes that don't have access to some of those like special operations communities and the trainers and staff and stuff like that they get.
Okay, that's really cool. And so you were in the Marine Corps, right?
Correct.
How long were you in? Like 8 years?
Yeah, like 9.5.
9.5. Wow.
Technically a major in the reserves right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, fancy. I just found that out thanks to a prior service recruiter that called me.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah. Hey, you too, buddy.
So what does your training look like now? I know you're really big into endurance stuff, but since getting out of the military, you've been out for a while now. Has your training changed a ton since getting out?
Yeah. Yeah, because since I got out and didn't have a real job, I went kind of focused 100% on coaching. Started out bouncing around some different gyms in the area back in Phoenix, and then now I'm firmly planted in my 3-car garage with a full gym that was not taken out of your garage gym playbook, but was taken from like a rogue website.
Nice.
Yeah,
you got the real deal.
Yeah, the real deal, and the expensive, real deal that I probably could have saved a lot of money on by following your stuff. But my training's changed quite a bit. Just busy with the business and family and 3 kids and plays and theater rehearsals and hockey practice and stuff like that. So,
So you have to fit things in so tightly.
Yeah.
You have to do back-to-back GoRucks just to smack it all in.
That's right. Yeah, if I want to get it done, I gotta sign up for all the ones that happen in one weekend. But so I think a lot of my training's been focused on durability is what I've been playing around with the most. Anyone can come. There's a million strength programs out there, right? There's a lot of great stuff that if you just stick to a plan, which is 98% of the battle, in my opinion, just having a plan and sticking to it. You can get strong if you follow, any kind of general strength conditioning GPP program like CrossFit or any like HIIT type training, you're going to get, the conditioning, you're going to get real fit. But the big missing link, and I see this and I saw this with a lot of CrossFitters and I still do, is the durability piece where guys they're getting better, but they still are dealing with these nagging pains and injuries. And that's something that, our military folks and tactical athletes, stuff like that, just can't deal with, right? they don't get the rest and the recovery and the sleep and the perfect nutrition and diet and physical therapists and massages and all that kind of stuff because they can't afford it and it's not available to them in most of the I wouldn't go into a massage place in 29 Palms for fear of getting divorced afterwards. So
Can't afford it multiple ways.
Yeah, exactly, right. So durability is the big kind of missing piece that I think is a big moneymaker in the military world, right? You don't have to max out your physical fitness test. You just have to be real strong and kind of useful when it really matters.
Yeah, and have that sticking power for long durations. And that's something I completely agree with, because I think just personally doing, kind of coming from like a, isolation bodybuilding background and then coming to CrossFit and then doing, high intensity stuff for a long time, you start to lose a lot of that, call it durability or whatever, but once you stop focusing on all of the smaller things and you're just trying to go hard all the time, then that's when the injuries start popping up and muscles start to atrophy in the wrong places and all this other stuff. And so I think that's a really big thing that people should focus on. And I know that are you taking that into your training because we mentioned that you do a lot of GoRuck stuff, and I want to get into that, but is that kind of how you're incorporating GoRuck training? Is like durability training? Is that what you consider rucking?
Not really. I consider rucking, stupid and painful, but no. I mean,
so is it just a mental toughness thing for you then? The rucking?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mental toughness thing, and it's an interest in kind of the sociologic behavior that goes on in those kind of group events with people who have never pushed themselves to that kind of limit, right? Like coming from the military, coming from the combat arms side and the officer side of the military. I think there's just a different mindset, right? Like there's no minimum PFT score. There's only a maximum, right? Like it doesn't matter that I'm 32 now, right? I never look like if I go, hey, I want to go see if I can max out the Marine Corps PFT. I'm not going to look at the 32-year-old scores, right? Which might be lower. I'm going to look at, the 18 to, 20-year-old scores or whatever they are. So, no, I mean, I think it's more, I like those things for, one, it's kind of a test of my overall training philosophy that I've really developed, in the last couple of years, and probably more so since the first podcast with you is, the minimal effective dose for the maximum, adaptation, right? Like what is the minimum I can get away with and still be awesome? And that is what I've been experimenting with myself and with a lot of my, personal or like private training clients. And then with some of my training programs on Strategic Athlete is, yeah, anyone can crush you with volume, but do you need that, right? Like, can I, if I give you, like for you, right, for, your marathon story from the first podcast, which is hilarious, so go back and check that out. Mm-hmm. Like if I can give you a endurance training plan that is 20 miles a week and you can reach your goal in a marathon or whatever distance, I mean, that's always going to be better than that 50-mile plan, right? Like why do the extra 30 miles if you're going to get the same result? And that's what I've really been trying to dial in over the last couple of years is like, what is the minimum we can do to get the maximum benefit and get and reach the goals that we need to reach and durability stuff, right? Just kind of work, right? Just the loaded carries, the pushing the sled, it doesn't have to be high intensity. Just go do the work. And I've seen some really good benefits from that to the point where I don't train for these GoRuck events. Like I don't ruck for them. I just accept that carrying a pack is going to suck, and I'm going to get as fit as I can and as durable as I can, and just go see what happens. And I've had pretty good success with it so far.
See, that's so interesting to me that you say that, and that you say it's stupid and painful, but and you say you really do it for getting the mental toughness part, but you do so many of them. So it's really interesting to me that you continue to keep pushing yourself and challenging, these different, concepts that you bring up multiple times in the GoRuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like anyone in the military, looking for a ribbon, which most people don't. But it's, if you look at the GoRuck thing, right? Like you earn the patch. What Napoleon said, men will die for little bits of ribbon. So there's a little bit of that, right? It's like, yeah, I got this patch. You don't have it. Like they're like, whatever. I could go pay someone to embroider that thing for $7, right? But like,
Right.
so there's some of that for sure, right? There's some of that kind of ego stuff, right? Like I don't wear my my GoRuck tack hat out of the house with like one of my GoRuck light patches on it. Like I wear the heavy patch because that's way more badass, right? Like,
Definitely.
but yeah. So there's some of that for sure, but it's fun and it gives me, with as busy as I am, what I like about it is it gives me something to train for, right? Like that's something since I've been out of the military, like I could really just be a fat slob right now and not really do anything, and as long as I hide behind my website, no one will ever know, right? But like that is, I mean, really, right? Like you don't really know who's actually walking the walk and that kind of thing. So the events give me something to kind of focus on and get, my priorities straight and train for. So that's why I keep doing them. And they're fun. And I've done so many and they've all been in the Phoenix area. So like everybody, there's a big group of people, and I know all these guys. I still shake my head and laugh every time I see them post in the little GoRuck, or Copper State GoRuck group on Facebook. Oh, we're going on a 12-mile ruck, Friday night. And I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys. See you guys in November at the next event.
Yeah, see you at the next ruck.
Yeah. So
I love
they,
that.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
I
go ahead.
love that you brought that up, because I really feel like that's what we talk about so much on the show, and that's what we like. We've really tried to make a lot about what Betterhumanology is just to give people a reason to want to get out there and get better. And so I feel like that's a really good point to bring up, is that you do these and it helps motivate you to kind of keep pushing yourself.
Yeah, for sure, and it's something that I've found doesn't take a lot of like dedicated training. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
Like it's not like, a marathon. I know I've got to like dedicate myself to these endurance workouts, even if it's the lower mileage, high intensity, like CrossFit endurance stuff. It's still a plan that I need to, dedicate myself to, or, a CrossFit competition or something like that. Any of these local competitions that are all over, like every weekend, I would have to dedicate I don't have that kind of time. It's just not, it doesn't make any sense in my life right now. So these things I can go, what do I have? I've got 10 minutes between clients. Like I'm going to see how many air squats I can do with this 20-pound vest on, right? Like that's going to build some durability. It's going to build some capacity to put a ruck on my back and go walk for 12 hours. And it has,
Yep. And so it's really it's more about expecting the pain and just anticipating and planning kind of for overcoming it mentally than training.
Yeah, it's really about not breaking down, with the GoRuck stuff. Like if you get the core, the back real strong, and you get the legs, to never quit, then everything else is mental, really. Like a 10-pound pack for 12 hours is gonna hurt your traps as much as a 40-pound pack will. Like it's just bad. It just doesn't feel great. And that mental stuff, like I'm way past that mental stuff. So like I don't have any issues with that. It's just a matter of how's my body going to hold up to this, beat down. Right. And it's good when I'm like, okay, all the skin is gone from my feet because these shoes suck. But, I did 900 and some burpees during this heavy and I feel okay,
Right.
And so I want to go back to one thing you mentioned when we first mentioned the GoRuck. You said one of the aspects was mental toughness, but one of the other aspects was, kind of getting to watch other people who haven't experienced this, see them break down or see them push their limit or whatever. Do you have any good stories about, or funny stories about people, getting that limit or just couldn't take it, or good encouraging stories, any kind of story about that?
I mean, it really depends, right? Like these events are all team-based things that, the goal, especially for people who are experienced, is to, help make sure that everybody makes it, right? But it's, it's all over the spectrum, right? I've done 9 events now. I've got 2 more coming up in November, right after Thanksgiving, like the day after Thanksgiving. So that's going to be awful.
Wow.
Because I know how I get around family. So
it will not change your diet either.
No, I'll make bad choices because, anyway, because I was a Marine and that's what we do is make bad choices.
You're saying you're going to drink a lot the night before you go on the GoRuck?
I didn't say that. Right? But yes, that's exactly what I said. Well, now I forgot the question, right?
I was talking about, you said, a huge aspect was watching other people go through this, and I was wondering if you had any good stories about that.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's it's all over the map, right? You get some people and you're like, oh man, like she's never going to make it. And then they do, and they do well. And then there's other times, not the last two I did, I think it was in January or February this year. I did a challenge in light back to back, and at the challenge, during the welcome party, for those of you that are familiar with what the welcome party is, which is basically just a few hours of being hazed. We had a girl there who was a ultra runner, like ran 50s and 100 miles, and did all these like kind of ultra endurance events, which takes a certain kind of mental state, right, to get through, and just had just couldn't handle like just the continuous flutter kicks or 8-count bodybuilders or whatever. And she was right next to me, so I was like, hey, listen, like you just have to do, I know we said 50, but you just have to do 5 more. Right? It's kind of set small goals, right? Just do 5 more. And then she would do 5 more. And I was like, she's like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, all right, you only have to do 5 more. Let's just get through the next 5. Then we get through, and then like 35 minutes later, right? It's 35 minutes later. And we're, it's coming to an end, like it's going, like he can't stop the clock, right? Like it's going to end eventually. And she dropped out and she quit. So she set these small goals and made it like an extra, almost 40 minutes of being hazed. And these things are usually like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. So she made like 50, 60% of the way, or more, further than, she would have if she just quit on herself in the beginning and dropped out, and it was sad because it's like, you can do this. You just have to get your head right. And it's just interesting to me because coming from, the kind of CrossFit world, which is where I come from, you see this higher intensity stuff and you see people who just can't handle it, right? And they're usually the ones who are like, CrossFit's stupid. You just get hurt and it's dumb and there's no point in doing so many reps of any of these power snatches. And then you're like, well, let me see you do a power snatch. And they can't do one and, they're out of shape, but they got sweet biceps or whatever. So, I like seeing that stuff. It's interesting from a coaching perspective because I don't coach groups anymore, in person, right? I'm not like at a gym coaching like group classes. So
is that by design? Like you didn't like coaching groups, or
I didn't like getting paid $20 an hour.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the team aspect. I really thought that was a really interesting thing, like about GoRucks, is that you do have to help each other get through it.
Yeah, man. Like the very first one I did, like we had this lady and she's like, I have grandkids. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. And like I carried her pack for her because she was, hurting for a good 2-3 hours of this event. Yeah. And, and it was like I'd give it back to her and she'd give it back to me. And like we just went back and forth and she made it, like she did what she could do and everyone else helped out and did what they could do. And yeah, that's what's cool about it is when you see the team come together. And that's what's kind of fun about the GoRuck things. Like if you get it, like if you've been in the military and you get the games that are being played, like they're only playing games with you if everyone's acting like individuals. Right. As soon as you guys come together as a team and start working against the cat running the show, like you and getting organized and doing what you're supposed to do, but also, coming together with like, all 20 people and being like, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to make this time hack or we're going to whatever, like everything changes, right? The whole event changes and the games stop and the, silly little hazing stops and, it turns into a lot of fun where you're running around, downtown or like Tempe at 2 a.m, right by Arizona State, which is insane. Carrying people through the streets and everyone's looking at you like you're crazy because 1, you are, and 2, they're drunk. So it's pretty funny.
And that's actually, you brought up something, so you kind of gave like a tidbit for, working against the guys in charge or whatever.
Yep.
Do you have any a little more tactical tips for a GoRuck as far as maybe how to take care of your feet or how to pack your pack, things you should bring or whatever?
Yeah, so there's a lot of mental stress that goes on. Like in these, every event will have like a Facebook group page, and there's a lot of mental stuff that goes on. They put out a packing list, and it's got like an extra T-shirt and 3 pairs of socks and like all this, and it's like your typical packing list that you would see like in the military for like a couple of day field op or whatever. You don't need any of that stuff, right? Like make sure you have enough water, make sure you have enough electrolyte with you, which is important, and which people don't think of, Like, don't just like electrolyte is not a bunch of like candy in your pack and M&Ms. Like, it's like get some salt stick or get something, test something out that works for you, and make sure you have a plan to make it 12 hours. Especially here, like I'm in Arizona, and the last 2 events I did was on July 4th, so it was 108 degrees or something, so it was miserable. Make sure you have the weight, make sure you have water and electrolyte, and get rid of everything else. Don't stress about it, right? Like have kind of the bare minimum stuff, and you'll be okay. Like it's pretty funny to see people stress out about all kinds of stuff. Like I think I ended up carrying around this last event. I carried around like 3 Twinkies with me in my pack because like we had to bring like a birthday cake for America's birthday, right? On the July 4th event. And they were like, well, we're not carrying a cake around. So they got like Twinkies for everybody to carry around. And it was just, and everyone was like stressing about these Twinkies. And like the dude didn't even ask about them. It was just, so like I finished this thing like 12 and a half hours later, and I reached in my pack and I've got these like smashed up Twinkies in there that I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I carried these around, guys. Thanks.
I would have just downed it.
Yeah, at that point they were gross. They were like smashed up hot. So it was like it was point me towards the closest beer and I'll be good.
So you say
other than that, go ahead.
You said well, sorry, but you said hazing and and talking about bringing cakes and things like that. So really, like bottom line is be prepared for the mind games. They start before you even begin. Huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. This last one was real good too because we had to. What did we have to do? We had to memorize the Ballad of the Green Berets.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. Like if you listen to it, but it's also like super old school and corny. We had to
sad, right? I mean,
yeah, it's super sad, right? And then we also had to memorize the Doc McStuffins theme song from like Nick Jr. and the Doc McStuffins treatment song from Nick Jr. Right? So
and were those tested at the event?
Oh yeah. So knowing me, I'm just like it's Friday morning and I'm like finishing up some work and some school stuff and I get all that sent off and I'm like, oh man, I should probably try to memorize these songs. Like everyone else had been sharing links and like stressing about this thing and like everyone else probably knew them or thought they knew them and I'm like, I should probably look these things up. Like I don't even know what these songs are. And so I go into it and it was cool because like and every event's different, which is cool, which is why I keep doing them as well. And this one was neat, right? So like why would you need to know the Doc McStuffins, who if you don't know is like the cartoon doctor girl who like fixes up like hurt stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So
talented. Yeah, I knew that.
I'm tracking. Yeah, I knew about Doc McStuffins.
Yeah, I watched Nick Jr. I don't know why Jared doesn't know with his kids, but I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know.
He's like, no, they're out building plyo boxes for the
TV
neighbors.
doesn't make you a better human.
I tried to. You guys are ganging up on me now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
take control of the show, Jared.
But get control of your podcast, Jared. Come on. But
I feel like I'm in the GoRuck now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is hazing. I don't know why you're not. I don't know why you're not doing push-ups while I talk to you. But I was going to make an Air Force joke, but I stopped myself. But anyway, so the first 2 simulated casualties we had. Guess what? You had to sing while you were putting tourniquets on these guys, right? You had to sing the Doc McStuffins treatment song. Like, okay, so that's a little bit of stress that, before the event, like, why do I need to learn this? I better know it. Like, he's going to ask me and then I'm going to be in trouble because I'm not going to remember it. But the purpose of it was, well, for any of us who've been, to a highly stressful, maybe a buddy is bleeding situation in, one of these fine countries named Iraq or Afghanistan or something like that. Keeping the mood light and keeping your mind off of what is going on. Like, hey, I'm putting a tourniquet around my buddy's leg because, from the knee down is nowhere to be seen, is super important, right? So there's some of those lessons as well that are pretty cool in these events. And it's always interesting to see how each of the cadre that run these things, put on their events because a lot of it is based on their experience, either at schools or from deployments or stuff like that.
So really, you can get a totally different experience if you do a GoRuck in one, like say Phoenix, compared to one in Dallas.
I haven't had a single challenge, heavy challenge or light that's been the same, or has been even similar. Yeah, completely different.
Well, that gives a little bit more, reasoning to why you would continue to do them, is because you're getting a new experience, a new challenge each time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're different, and I've had the same cadre numerous times, and it's been a completely different event as well. So,
Talon, I always been throwing around the idea of a GoRuck, and we actually had planned one, and then we can blame it on me. I
can't blame it on you.
It's 100% my fault. I did not want to do it because of my shoulder, and
because you're scared. Got it.
I was basically scared. Well, I also know myself in those situations, and it's not like I'm not going to quit. So it's like, do I really want to completely screw up my shoulder just to say I finished this thing? Yeah. So anyway, I think that we're still going to do one, but I want to, now that Talon has a little more loadout, because when I first told him, I was like, all right, dude, let's do a GoRuck. He didn't know at all, and we were like, it was like Wednesday, we were doing it on a Friday, and he didn't know.
That's nothing. I got a better story for my first one, but go ahead.
And so I want to hear Talon's take now that you know a little bit more about them. Do you think that you're interested still in doing a GoRuck with me?
Well, I really wanted to ask PJ one more question before we got to a decision on that. And really, I don't know if he's going to want to answer or how much he can answer. But I mentioned it a little bit earlier. But you said hazing. And that no grown man wants to be hazed. No grown woman wants to be hazed.
But it's healthy for you, right? I mean,
have you not watched 50 Shades of Grey? Come on.
I mean, is there any more you can tell us about that without giving it away?
It's so different from event to event, right? Like when I talk about hazing, it's just like basic PT stuff, right? Like,
okay,
get on the ground, get back up.
Yeah, they're not doing the elephant walk or anything.
It's fighting words kind of stuff.
Yeah. They're doing elephant walk and bear crawls and, low crawls and push-ups and flutter kicks and burpees and 8-count body, stuff like that. But I think the bottom line is, like, the most tactical advice I can give as far as those go is, before you sign up, you just need, or even once you sign up, all you need to do is convince yourself that quitting isn't an option, right? Like Jared just said, like, yeah, my shoulder is a little messed up, but like whatever happens, like I'm not going to quit. Like they're going to have to remove me and put me on an ambulance before I voluntarily like drop out of this thing. And if that is your mindset, you can do any of this stuff. Does that make sense? Like, if you're confident and you're right in the head where you just go, well, I'm not going to quit. So like, let's see what happens. Then you're going to be fine. And that's something that a lot of people, they've never been tested to the point where they know for a fact that that's the case. Does that make sense?
Sure does. Yeah. Well, that's not something I need to worry about with that. That's like a forte, maybe we'd say.
Well,
yeah.
But one thing I think that a lot of people don't, they like, because you don't, I mean, you can train for it, but you wouldn't want to intentionally, is like,
right.
Is some people you can push yourself, or you can, do a workout quickly and everything. But if you've ever had the heels rubbed off the back of your feet, or, or whatever, that's completely different kind of mental toughness that, like I said, it's really hard to train for unless you just train for it, or you find out in a situation like the GoRuck, if you're the type of person who's like, I know that my flesh is gone, but I'm still going to keep going, so like, to me, it's a completely different kind of mental toughness, but I completely agree with you on you just got to like do it. Like if you make that decision, then you're going to complete it. Your team will get you through, or whatever the case is for the GoRuck. Yeah,
exactly. Like it was just, and you talk to some people and they're like, oh, I'm nervous about this, my first one. Like, I hope I make it. And like, if you're saying that like before the event, then you're already kind of in trouble, like you probably still make it because the team's going to pick up the slack and help you out, which is cool. But I'm never going to be that guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be like, yeah, man, I've got this like master's degree in kinesiology and I was the director of training for CrossFit Endurance. And I'm, like, here's my giant like coaching and training resume. And then I'm like, oh, can you carry my pack? I can't do it anymore. So there's that as well, where I'm just like, well, that's not an option. I'm not going to sign up for it if I don't think I can do it, at this point. And, that hasn't been the case, but I mean, as long as you're right with yourself and you're like, hey, I'm going to make this, like, it's not going to be fun. It's going to suck. Like, but it's going to end. Right. Like, like, oh, he's going to tell you that he's just going to cancel the light the next day and you're just going to keep going, but he's really not going to do that. Like, that's not how it works. Like, this is still a business. There's still another event plan. Like,
yeah, that's what you always have. That's why I think the military is always scarier in those situations, because they actually own you a little bit, and if you die, then like it's not that big of. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not like as big of a deal if you were to die in a GoRuck challenge,
right?
So I think that it's a little less scary since it is a business. One thing I did want to ask you, because you've done their heavy, you've done a bunch of their stuff. Do you have any hopes, aspirations, or anything of doing their hardest one? I think it's called Selection.
Yeah, it is the Selection. I don't know. It depends on more lifestyle stuff than
like if you could
else.
actually have the time to like seriously train for it. Is that what you're
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would have to prepare for it, because I mean, it's no joke. It's 48 hours, and I've trained some people for it. I think they're doing one this weekend, or one starts tomorrow. A Selection does, but two selections ago, I trained a girl, and she made it to. She was she was the second to last girl that left, and I think they ended up with one person graduating from that one, and one dude was in the hospital with like rhabdo for a month, and he was the second to last guy to like drop. So, yeah, so it would be something that I would like. That's something that I would be like, all right, like I got to get a plan together, and I need to actually like commit and train for this thing. And like I'm just not in a place right now where I can do that. Just with just all the stuff going on with the businesses and the family and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Selection is like an entirely different beast. Not even close to the other.
I mean,
events.
It's 48 hours. It's the same, but they make it purposely worse. Does that make sense?
Hard,
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like I would have to get myself physically ready for it, because like mentally I'd be like, I'm only going to quit if it seems real dumb. Well, this is just getting dumb, and I'm probably going to end up like that dude who's in the hospital, and it's not worth it.
Well, that's because you know about Kokoro at SealFit.
So this girl that I trained had gone through the Kokoro camp, and I was like, oh, mentally she's going to be good, and she dropped out during the welcome party of Selection, which was granted 12 hours into the thing or something, but she was like, this is they're not, you can't compare the two.
Yeah, that's because Kokoro, like, not most everyone finishes, but a large portion of the team finishes, and like everything I've seen about Selection is like they purposefully like take it as far as they have to till there's like only one guy left.
Yeah, in the last two events, they've graduated one guy.
Wow, and I think the only thing worse than that is Joe DeSena's death race. Is like, have you guys heard of that? Yeah. That one's like, I guess, the ultimate worst, but I don't know a ton about it. I've just heard that it's like the worst endurance race on the planet. But that one's like literally just dumb. Like
that's how all of it sounds when you're 32 and you got 3 kids and stuff to do.
That's what I always think about looking back on this stuff. Telling my kids like, if doing all these events or whatever is like, wait, you guys paid to like have someone like yell at you? And like,
yeah, that's what people always say to me. They're like, and you pay for this? I'm like, no, I pay to watch other people suffer. And they're like, you are insane.
All right, Talon, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, I think I got that hazing one was the last one sticking with me, because when you dropped that, early on, I was like, oof.
So now you get to answer my question. Would you?
Yeah, no, but now I'm excited. I mean,
You're
I've always been excited. Yeah, we were down to do it before, and it fell through, like you said, because of you, my good man. So we're ready for the next one.
Well, I'm feeling good. My shoulders, I think, as good as it's going to get without probably needing surgery. So I'm pretty good. I'm probably good to go.
Probably. Let's do it. Let's pick one, and I'll see if I can make it.
When's the next one in Dallas?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we should ask you kind of the quick fire questions and the better human question, because you've answered it before.
Anything new? Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have a new take? Almost.
Probably, because I don't remember what I said.
I don't remember exactly what you said either.
I can pull it up.
Can you? Like, that's I'm looking through I'm looking through Evernote right now to see what I said. Right. Oh shit, I have it. This is amazing. Here's all the stuff I pitched. Oh, there we go. I got it. What I said last time, I said,
That was quick.
just get out there and execute on whatever you're doing, right? If you want a better job, go make it happen. If you want to start your own business, go make it happen. If you want to improve your fitness, lose weight, get stronger, right? It's just execution is the key.
All right,
I don't know, man. I'm.
Are you sticking
that's
with
it,
that?
Man. I'm sticking with it. I'm
All
sticking
right.
with it. And I mean, right when I think when what was the date on this? November last year, right? November
Yeah.
14. Yeah, this was I launched Strategic Athlete like a month before that, and that advice that just go and do it and see what happens has served me well. So
Awesome, dude. I love it. Same answer. Then I don't think there's anything else. I do want to. We talked about it at the beginning, and you mentioned it just now, but love for you to tell people about what you're doing at Strategic Athlete, because I love what you're doing and think it's really great. So, also, how can people reach out to you or find you or whatever?
yeah, so I think as far as finding me, I think I own the top 9 of 10 Google search results for PJ Newton now.
Nice.
Which is sweet because
Who's number 10? What's he doing?
let's you know what, I'm going to look right now because
You said 9 out of 10. It's actually number 1.
No. I own number 1. Number 1's my Twitter. What's
so you
number?
have 1 through 9, but you don't have number 10.
Hold on. No, I don't have number 9.
And this could change tomorrow.
This is some imposter on Facebook.
Someone stole your identity?
PJ.Newton.5. I don't know about that guy, but he sounds like a jerk. So yeah, you can find me on the any PJ_Newton Twitter and Instagram. I don't know what my username on Facebook is, but strategicathlete.com is the place where I am the most. What do you want? What do we need to know? Did I cover this last time? Military and tactical athletes, right? If you're looking for coaching, programming, I've got programs. I've got premium stuff, obviously, but more importantly, I've got basic training on there 5 days a week for free, which gets you kind of body weight, kind of PFT crushing, just kind of random programs, 5 days a week for free, and then also I try to get a well-researched blog post out once a week, but it kind of depends on what's going on in my life. So, I had a rough weekend hanging out in Vegas for the last 4 days, so Monday didn't see a blog post. But yeah, so, drawn on my access to every journal in the world, in the research world, and my master's degree is I'm trying to put out some good information on training and coaching and different things like plyometrics and running with a weight vest and, lower mileage, high intensity, endurance training and, some strength stuff and stuff like that. So, you can find that at strategicathlete.com/knowledge, as that's the archive for that stuff. And then basic training or just blog/blog, you'll get all of the stuff all at once.
Cool, and I think
Is that a good pitch?
that's
I
perfect.
can keep pitching stuff if you want.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds
we
awesome.
could just break down each URL, but no, that's perfect, man. And I do highly recommend everyone check out Strategic Athlete. But that's it. That's all we have for the show. PJ, thanks for being on.
Thanks a lot, PJ.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Thanks.
your best. Losers always whine about their best.